Hello, everyone. So thank you for being here. I'm glad to talk to you about VR, about Uptale, and our technical journey. So Uptale is an immersive learning platform. So that means that we help corporations and school improve learning efficiency thanks to virtual reality. And Uptale was at the beginning just a few web VR pages, which means VR on the web browser, and it's just simple pages. And we went from that to being a full cloud platform with many features. And I'm going to explain to you why it's important and maybe more important than the actual VR part. So just a little bit about myself. So I'm the co-founder and CTO of Uptale. And before that, I have experience in software engineering, especially at Microsoft, where I spent 8 years. And I was dev lead on music and video backend services and cloud services. So I'm not a mixed reality expert, but more backend and cloud specialist. And I'm going to explain to you why it matters in the scope of building a VR solution for enterprises. So Uptale is not only myself. So we were at the beginning 4 co-founders. So 2 technical persons, so both from Microsoft, and 2 more on the business and communication side. And what happened is that we launched 2 years ago, and we grew rapidly to a team of around 20 people, and we are without any funding. We grew thanks to our customers. So that went quite fast, and we are very proud of that because virtual reality and mixed reality in general was something that nobody knew about 2 years ago. So that's good, and that's a good field to work on. We are based in Paris at Station F. For those who know, it's like a huge startup incubator. It's the biggest in the world, and that gave us some opportunities. So yeah, just to tell you about being a startup at Station F, we had a lot of good events and things like that. We had the opportunity to talk to many impressive people, like on this picture, Satya Nadella, the CEO of Microsoft. But we also met with many people from politicians and entrepreneurs, things like that. We are working with more than 50 big companies. I'll show you the list right after. And we have like thousands of creators. So our platform is also about creating VR content. It's not only about delivering it. I will talk about this as well. And we have maybe 50 more, 70,000 learners using our platform to learn in virtual reality. So these are some of our customers. So if you don't know the names, these are big companies, mostly French. So I hope that in a few months we'll have the same list with Portuguese companies. As you can see, there are some fields that are more interested in VR. So these are all the companies that are where you have an interest to be on the field or in a situation. So for example, you have like all the energy companies and manufacturing here with a lot of traction in automotive and transport. So one of the reasons is that we are living a transformation with the industry 4.0, and a lot of the jobs are changing. So they need to adapt, and VR is very beneficial in this case. Retail industries as well, because you can teleport your employees inside the shop and learn about things there. And some interesting part also, we have a lot of ask for trainings in soft skills. So soft skills allow you, so VR allows you to be in front of the people and understand better and feel better the different interactions with people. So to deliver to all these customers, we need a large network of partners. So mostly learning and training organizations, which are also consulting companies, which help us like deliver the content, do the integration to our customers, and all that. LMS is a very interesting part as well. So LMS is learning management system. It's the system that's installed inside the corporations for tracking the learning of their employees. So they track everything on their system, and they don't want another system to track everything. So they want that all their learning, all the data of their learning goes through this system. And then we have tech companies helping us, including Microsoft, of course, and universities and school. So these are customers as well, but it's more like a lot of tractions. And I think that the education space is going to change in a few years with new technologies, including VR, AR, mixed reality. So I'm going to explain to you a bit more about the platform and what it is in general. So as I was saying, like the change is the industry is changing very fast. Industry and jobs in general. So we're in a world where artificial intelligence and automation are replacing many of our jobs and creating new jobs. So people need to adapt quickly, and it's a real challenge for companies to find new ways to learn faster, for their employees to learn faster and more efficiently. VR is not the solution to everything, but for everything that happens in situation and where you need to be somewhere or in a specific situation, it's a very good way of doing this. So it allows you to learn situation anywhere and from anywhere. That's the important part. And why does it work? Because of neuroscience applied for learning. There are 5 pillars which are important to learn better. And virtual reality is interesting on each of these points. So first, the attention. So when you have your headset on your face, you have 100% attention. You cannot look around. You cannot do anything else. The experimentation. So when you're doing a learning module in VR, you're actually experimenting. You're not only passive and looking at slides or video. You're actually interacting with things and with your environment. Motivation. So that's because it's a very gamified way of learning. Repetition. It's by opposition to doing in presence, like in-person training, you can repeat, you can make mistakes and feel the mistakes. And emotion is a really interesting point. So it's been proven that we learn better and we retain the information better when our emotions are high. And virtual reality actually brings more emotion than a PowerPoint or classical e-learning, and that's why it's interesting. And more than that, it also provides context. So context helps you use the information when you need it. So for example, we all know that you learn better foreign language when you're in the country, and that's because you get a context, and you can easily attach like the words that you're learning to the context and your environment. And when you're in this context again, it's very easy to get the information. So it's the information retrieval that's optimized. So this is a screenshot of our platform. So what we do, so what we chose, it's not the only way to do VR for training. So we are based on 360 videos and photos that you can take today very easily with 360 cameras. And we augment that with interaction. So these are interactions that you can find in any e-learning, but we do that in situation in VR. So there are some, we can add like questions, quizzes. You can incorporate your classical videos, slideshows, and we also power these tags, some of these tags with cognitive services from the cloud. So you start seeing that it's becoming a platform. So you have the creation, the creation part here. So where you upload your medias, you create your experience here. Then you share it. This is the actual VR experience. And then you have all your data to track the information and the different data about your learners. So, and it's working. So these are some of the case studies. We have more. If you want to know more, don't hesitate to send me an email. So can talk about this one. So PSA is a Peugeot, so the car manufacturer. And one challenge that they have is so their production lines are changing all the time depending on the demand and all that, and it constantly need to train new people on their production line. And the problem with that is that they need sometimes to stop the production line to help them learn and practice. And when you stop the production line, you lose a lot of money every minute that is stopped. So they realize that using VR, they can actually stop the production line way less than without. And so that's why they are investing on it. And they want to deploy to 50K learners in this year. So that's a change. So trying to explain to you that VR and mixed reality, it's not just sexy, it's also very useful, and you get some customers already get a return on investment. So I have some other examples here on industry, security training, retail, and we have many more as well. Now there's a little video about our tool to give you an overview of how it works. Yeah, okay, I continue. But we can watch it later, it's fine, yeah. Okay, so yeah, so how did we get there? So from doing simple experiences to understanding that we needed a platform, and that's why I'm trying to explain to you now. So first, I said we did an MVP in WebVR. So WebVR is is VR on the web, and it's a JavaScript API to make that kind of experiences. So it works with all of the modern browsers and on all devices. So it could be your PC, your smartphone, tablet, or either a headset, a VR headset. And there are several frameworks available. So it's pretty. I encourage you to play with it if you haven't already. Some of the most famous, so Babylon.js is both a WebVR library and a 3D engine. It's been developed by two employees actually from Microsoft, and they are using it already in production in some of the Xbox websites. So it's pretty stable technology. A-Frame is very famous because it's probably one of the easiest way to start doing WebVR. There's no built-in 3D engine. It's leveraging an existing one that's called 3.js and React 360 that I don't know much about, but it's the one made by Facebook. So this is what it looks like. So this is a web browser, and you get your 360 experience inside your browser, and it works. And if you press the magic button, it splits the screen, and you can use a cardboard if you are on the phone, and watch it in VR. So we did that. We even sold it to our first customers. And it was a very nice proof of concept, but it was impossible to scale it further within the company. And we identified why. And these are the 5 themes that we were missing. So the actual deployment, how do you deploy these experiences, the content, data, security, and offline scenarios. So I will start with the deployment. So first thing about the deployment. So this one is not really true anymore. So WebVR is becoming very stable, and we don't have that much issues anymore. But at the beginning, it was very shaky. Like every time we had a new an update from either the library or the web browser. So for example, Google Chrome ships a new version. Some things were getting broken, so we had to fix it very quickly and adapt our platform to fix problem continuously. And then the problem is more in so B2B issues. So some companies have a list of approved web browsers, and there are a lot still using old versions of Internet Explorer. And it's impossible to make it work well on very old browsers because they don't support WebVR. And the problem also with the device performances. So we relied a lot on people using their smartphones to watch it in VR with the cardboard. And if it's not powerful enough, of course, it's not going to work. And WebVR is running on top of the web browser, so you get another layer of where you lose performance rather than having like a native application. So one move that we made is to create a Unity app. So something that's actually running on the hardware and directly on the operating system. To actually control it and being able to have the experience run better and make sure that it's not going to break in our hand, and to have a solution to the customers that have all the browsers. And that doesn't mean that we don't like WebVR. So we still use WebVR for when we need reach. So for our customers who need to, for example, very easily distribute an experience to thousands or tens of thousands of employees, say, okay, just share this link. They will log in and do the experience. But when we are in a controlled environment with when we manage the headsets and we know exactly what's going to happen, we prefer to do this so that we're sure it's going to work in good conditions. And yeah, of course, one thing that's awesome with WebVR is that you don't need to install any app, you just need to open your web browser and it works. So another deployment issue is the size. So compared to any other, so we compete with the classical e-learnings, and e-learning is very light and easy to deliver. It's not the same with VR because the assets are very heavy especially for us, the 360 videos. And so we need like a very important delivery infrastructure to deliver this content. And so relying on the cloud is very interesting because we have very many possibilities in terms of geo-redundancy. So this screenshot is from Azure Cosmos DB. So that's the DB part, but there are also some solutions with blobs or big content like media files. And yeah, of course we have, so our customers are delivering all around the world. So if you have like several hundred of megabytes of videos to deliver to the other side of the world, it's going to be a problem for them, especially they may have a lot of proxy and not great infrastructure on their side for the bandwidth. And yeah, and CDN is also an option, so content delivery network, when you need to go public with an experience and deliver it to many people, it's a very good option, and it's very easy to do with the cloud. Yeah, then the second issue that we hit quickly is the content. So it's great to have a nice platform and some piece of content, but every customer wants his own content or something dedicated to his need. And we had to facilitate as much as possible the content because VR content is brand new. So now we have like more and more 360 cameras like this one. It's very cheap and very easy to use. And so we say, okay, let's enable our users to create content by themselves. So we leverage the cloud on many aspects. So first of all, so the WebVR editor that I talked about. So WebVR is great for the creation part because in this case you don't want every creator to have to install an app, an application to create the content because it will slow down the creation, and that's the part that we needed at the beginning to boost. I talked about the size of the videos that are very heavy. So the thing is that when you buy a camera, the video that you have is like lossless or almost, and it's super heavy. You don't want to stream that, and you don't want to tell your customers how to encode the video and what are the right settings for their device. So we decided to do all the video transcoding in the cloud. So we basically you just need to upload. So usually video transcoding requires like a lot of power, so big machine, and it takes a lot of time. So we just need to book a big machine in the cloud and to assign it to the user. So you can just use his smartphone, upload the video, and the transcoding will happen. We have also some editing options. And then we leverage as much as possible the cognitive services. So two of them are very useful for us in the context of content creation. First one is text-to-speech, so typing a text and hearing a voice. So that's interesting because our customers, they want to prototype their content before actually making the final one. So they can do that very quickly. And translation, because we work with a worldwide organization, and they need to translate the content to make it accessible to all the different sites or factories, things like that. So yeah, this is a screenshot of our editor. So basically, it's very easy. It's like a PowerPoint, but in 360. You have your 360 environment here. You can trigger your different scenes, and you can configure your different what we call tags. So these are the interactions of our system. Yeah, next very important change and interesting change is the data. So in VR and also augmented reality, you have very interesting data because it's not only interactions and click, it becomes like biometrics. So it's where you looked at what you did with your controller, and if you follow the news about VR, we are more and more about adding new sensors to the hardware. So for example, HTC announced that there will be eye tracking in the next headset. So that's a lot of data. And because it's a lot of data, you need a powerful data processing. So that's where we also need the cloud. Use technologies like data lake to process everything. And then you can do advanced data visualization. So heat map to see where the user has watched, what's the hotspots inside the 360 VR scene, and what's interesting. And the biggest challenge was is the data connectors. So as I was explaining, the companies need not the data in your platform, but they want it in their platform because they already have some big databases or CRMs or LMS where they track all the data. And so you need to be able to interact with their data, otherwise they don't want your product. Security, so I will talk quickly about that because there's nothing really specific to VR, but that's a change to keep in mind. So for any B2B solution, you need a lot of security. So that includes data encryption, the backup. So they want to make sure that you don't lose your data, and yeah, about encryption as well. So I was explaining that it's a lot of biometrics data, so it's data very personal. So you need to make sure that you secure the personal data of about the employees. Access right management, of course, so to make sure that you won't be able to manage the rights within the company because there are some confidential information. And what we do as well is SSO, so single sign-on. We are able to delegate the authentication system to the ones of the company because they don't have to trust our system to authenticate the users, and they want to rely on theirs, and they don't want to also their employees to remember dozens of passwords. And yeah, one last point is the offline scenario. So in the learning and education industry, there is something very interesting, is that offline is absolutely required because sometimes they deliver learnings inside a room where they don't have any internet. And same with the classrooms, you sometimes don't have internet or Wi-Fi signal, but data is also mandatory. So they want the data in the cloud without internet. So that's a pretty interesting challenge to solve. We came up with many options because only one is never enough. And depending on the scenarios, we need to adapt. So I will just present one that we called the Uptale Classroom. So the Uptale Classroom is an application or a box. So it's a device with a screen that will emit like a Wi-Fi signal within the room and deliver the offline experiences that were loaded previously. And so everyone is interacting, and here you have like data flows that are how to say local. So the teacher or the trainer can see the data in real time. And what happens is that when he goes back up with his tablet or his device, we push the data to the cloud and we synchronize asynchronously data. So this is what our solution look like. And so I wanted to bring your attention to what I was saying at the beginning. We went from being a simple web VR experience to a platform. And so at the beginning, we thought that doing VR, our solution would be only about VR, but actually that was only the first step and maybe the easy part in our case. And so WebVR is only this component, and all of the rest is actually the platform. It's mostly cloud services, connectors, additional applications, and things like that. So that's what it took to actually be able to work with corporations and to actually scale within a company and not being just a proof of concept and a pilot that would remain just for the sake of innovation and being cool. So that's what it took to do something actually useful. So thank you. I hope it was interesting, and yeah, don't hesitate to get in touch if you have questions or if you want to ask questions. Thank you. And have another try at the video if you want to look. Yeah. So this is the edition tool. So before I think we missed it, but there is the upload of the video, and then you have your creation. So you place your different. Okay, so this is the upload of the video, and you actually process the video. You have an option to process the video, which means the transcoding. Then you import your scene in few clicks. So you have in your videos, you place your different interactions. And so we try to not make something that looks like a 3D tool. So it actually looks like 2D, and in order for everyone to be able to use it and see it. And you see there is a text called "This is a text," and what we're going to do is another language. And with the cognitive services, we can instantly translate it to French, and you have the French one automatically computed. So this is one of the data dashboard. We have new ones now, but basically you get all the data within our platform, and that kind of data we can send it to another system. And this is more complex to understand what's the actual path of the users, who used that, what were the interesting interactions. And yeah, this is the answer to the question. Yeah, that's it. Thank you.